Good morning, everybody. We made it through the week. Finally. Everybody got pretty cool weekend plans, or is it too cold and you're going to be in? Because it's cold here. It is 16 degrees. We all know what that does to me. We know. Let's see who's in here. Lady Justice, you were the first one in, you early bird. Sarah said, today I will spare current weather updates because from Texas to Florida was ice storm coming. Ooh, I wouldn't want ice. You can move snow. Ice is a different story. Good morning, Jennifer. November day. There's my friend Just Me. Aggie, how you doing this morning? November day. Let me see. If I missed somebody, I apologize. Matrix, hello. Superior Dreams, looks like she brought the coffee. Amanda's in the house. Hope everyone's having a marvelous morning. Lisa Marie Bird, good morning. Good morning. DT number 58 driver said, good morning, beautiful people. Good morning. Fruit Loop, hello. None your business. Barbie Ogden, good morning. I'm just reading some of your chats. You guys were having some funny convos in here. Pretty good. There's Chris Melcher. So it is wonderful to see everybody. I'm going to let people get settled in and get their reminders. Oh, Celeste brought coffee too. KJ's in here. Dr. Clark is in the house. Clark cured me yesterday. You guys can tell that I'm feeling a lot better. Clark is the best internet doctor I know. Not going to lie. Anybody needs to know anything, let me know. I'll get you hooked up. Danny makes things. Morning, Danny. Good morning. I think I saw Lip Lock in here too. If I miss you, I apologize. Chat's moving fast. So speaking of someone that's always moving fast, let's bring up our buddy Kevin B. Hello.
Good morning, Brooks. Good morning, everybody. Glad everybody is here. I hope everyone's has a great day and are having a great day. And if it's 10 degrees where you live, that's 4 degrees warmer than where I'm at.
There you go. It looks like it's 0 where Sarah lives. 0 degrees. Can't get much colder than that. It gets to a certain point in the wintertime. It's like, look, it's just cold. I don't need the degrees. It's just cold. We had a comment yesterday. A couple of people want to know what kind of puppy is in your avatar.
That dog, he was boxer, pit bull, and I believe probably had some Great Dane in him. He was huge. He's a big boy.
Really? That is a big boy. Yeah.
Yeah, his head was huge. Yep. You know what? And I woke up in the morning and he was dead in my bedroom, man. I couldn't believe it. What I had him, how long? Years, probably 7 years. And I wake up and he's on his dog pillow dead. I couldn't believe it. I was so shocked and upset. Yeah, that was a terrible day.
I'm telling you what, losing our fur babies is never easy.
No, not when you wake up and the first thing, I went over to get him. I said, come on, Trey, come on, buddy. And he was dead. I couldn't believe it. I lost it. That was terrible.
Nope. Losing a pet has always, it messed me up for quite a while.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of those people that can run out and get another pet. And if you can, you can. I'm just saying I can't. I'm like, nope, got to give me some time.
Yeah, my one dog, I had a purebred labs. They have a problem with their hips. For some reason, their hips go bad. And I had a yellow lab. His name was Max. And his hips just got bad. And he would fall when he walked and stuff. I had to take him down and have him put to sleep. Perfectly healthy. The only thing wrong with him was his hips. And I was like, I felt so bad. It was so bad.
That's what happened to my German Shepherd. They get bad hips too.
Yeah.
She passed away on her own.
But to sit there and put your dog to sleep when it's going to live another 5 years, and they have to put it down because of its hips. It was just heartbreaking. It was.
Oh, of course it's heartbreaking. Then you have to tell the kids, and I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
awful. No, I mean, they're part of our families.
Yep.
They're part of our families. That's why I love the pet room that we have in Discord, where people show pictures of their pets.
Oh.
Because that goofy cat I adopted, well, it adopted me. Every morning, the reflection in the sliding glass door that goes to our patio, that cat will sit there and look at herself, and she's like making all these noises. And I'm like, that's not another cat, dumbass. That's you. So it looks like everybody's getting settled in. Tamara's got 6 cats.
Whoa. I had 4 dogs at one time.
It's a lot. It's a lot to take care of. It's a lot.
Yeah. I won't do it again.
Nope. So
But yeah,
had,
your pets are they just break your heart when they're no longer around. You get so used to them.
Well, and animals don't let us down, unlike the 2 women we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, they are animals, but of a different kind, for sure.
Oh, our friend Kat's in here. She said, hey, loves, Brooks and Kevin. Her Wi-Fi's working.
Good morning, Kat.
Good morning, Kat. Good morning, Kat. Okay, somebody wanted the member link. There it is. All right, I'm going to go over some comments because I love everyone's comments. Hang on. You ready to hear some comments, Kevin?
I was born ready, sister.
I know you were. All right. This one I wanted to talk about. Okay, so this lady said, just had a thought. Do you think Candus purposely left her phone near H, knowing he would get nosy? She's usually got it glued to her. She loves her phone more than her kids. I think maybe she wanted him to see that message to implicate Andy. She has groomed H, and I think he was a pawn that day, a type of alibi she could manipulate. Makes sense to me.
Makes sense in my world.
Yep. That way he had a name and he could say he saw a message. It implicates her too, though, because Andy was messaging her supposedly.
Yeah, I don't know what all that meant, but I find it very suspicious, that it's done, and I've always said I would love to know what it's done means.
Well, and that's what I said for months. I'm like, but I don't know who sent it. It's done could be like, hey, it's done. They're done trimming trees, or it's done. Your Amazon package has arrived. Yeah, I don't know. They dropped off firewood. I don't know. I was like, it's a weird text. It's one of those texts that only the reader would know what's done. Lady Justice said they are all. Hang on. Go back up. She said they are all accessory after the fact now. It's looking that way. Everyone is still a suspect. They have not come out and said they have one person of interest.
Nope.
All right. So another comment. If Candus said she went for a walk when Summer went missing, that's a contradiction. She was afraid of bears, coyotes, snakes. She would not go on a walk. Yeah. Constant contradictions. The case we're going to compare her with today, you're also going to see some similarities. And I'm going to start by saying this. I am not saying at all what Letecia Stauch did, Candus did. We're just like we did with Megan Boswell that day. We're just talking about the similarities in the case. Nope, that's a total contradiction. You're right.
I'll tell you what, the similarities we're going to see here when we get them done, the similarities are alarming, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, another comment. You guys, I love your comments, by the way. What shocked me the most about the unedited version of Chris's interview with Allie, the grandma and Hunter, was when Chris asked them what their instinct was about what happened to Summer, and they both said she killed her. That made me cry so hard. That was very tough to hear. But then Hunter said the grandma was crazy all day. But I still think that he's afraid of Candus. There's something going on there. He's not going to throw her under the bus yet. So yeah, I agree with that. That was really tough to hear them say that. Because it's one thing what we think and we talk about, but for people that know her to come out and say that, that was kind of alarming. This comment I was really thinking about this morning, okay? If the boys think they may eventually be sent back to 110 Ben Hill Road, then out of fear, they would not talk. They would believe they'd receive severe punishment by Dawn and Candus for talking. That is a great point. If in the back of their minds, they're afraid that they're going to have to go back, they might not be saying anything because of that. It's something to think about, you know?
Yeah, that is. I don't even want to go there. They have, those boys, they should never return to that hellhole, in my opinion.
No, and the comment makes sense to me. They could just be clamming up just out of fear, thinking that if they are ever returned, that it'd be hell to pay when they got back. Don't think they had a good life either.
No, they are victims severely.
Mm-hmm.
Here they are ripped from their mom and dad, which I'm sure no matter how the kids were living, broke their hearts. And now their sister's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, how terrible for them boys. Seriously, they are such victims. It is so sad.
It is. But I was thinking about it. I was like, they could possibly be afraid of being returned there, so they're not going to say anything for repercussions.
Well, hell no, not when you got a mom like Mandus.
Mandus. Rat 507 said, all the children of all these characters are victims. Yep, they are. I had another comment, someone telling me to cut Hunter a break, and I'm like, listen to the whole show.
Yeah.
If you only catch 5 minutes, I can't help you. I've said repeatedly, Hunter was used. Hunter was a proof of life witness. Hunter was somewhat of an alibi. Hunter is a victim in this.
Yeah, we have never implicated Hunter as being a guilty. We've always said he's a victim since day one. I'm not blaming anything on Hunter at all. No way. Yeah.
Not blaming anybody, because we really don't have enough information. We can speculate and say, well, this is what I think might have happened, could have happened. But nah, a lot more is going to come out. And just like the case comparison we're getting ready to do, you're going to see in the affidavit I put up what's going on behind the scenes right now with the Summer Wells case. While some people think they're doing nothing, they don't care, they're corrupt, you're going to see another case where people were saying the same thing, believe it or not. Then you see what they were really working on behind the scenes. It's going to be real telling. By the way, we had 2 shows yesterday. Of course, we had, Summer yesterday morning at 9 a.m., Harmony Montgomery at 11 a.m. So some were here for one or the other or both. Love it. Appreciate it. Go back and grab those videos and watch them again. The one with Harmony was really, really good. That social worker knows her stuff. There was a lot of insanely brilliant comments.
And if you like everything, don't forget to smash the sub button.
Only takes a couple seconds to show some love.
It does. Yep.
That's it. All right. So like I said, I think it was last week we brought up the comparisons briefly between the Megan Boswell case and the Summer Wells case. We didn't even have to mention it because Don mentioned it, which I've always thought was odd that he would even bring up a case of a murdered child, especially when the woman, she's actually due in court today. I think she's already been to court. I think it was 9 a.m. in East Tennessee she was going. I mean, for him to relate the two or say he's being treated like Megan Boswell, well, she's getting ready to stand trial for the murder of her child. So like I said, we didn't even have to bring that up. He brought it up. Okay. So just like we talked about Megan Boswell a couple weeks ago, you know, the tub, the changing of the stories. This is another case. And I'm not going to go into the case of the murder of Gannon Stauch so much because there's so much to talk about. We will do it on another day because I know after this show, you're going to want to know more about it if you don't already. A lot of people already do. There's lots of, you're going to see a lot of similarities. I'm going to start out with just a few. But first, for those of you that don't know about the case of Gannon Stauch, I'm just going to put up a news clip real quick that'll kind of bring you up to speed. So hold on.
Stand trial for the murder of her stepson. Letecia Stauch is accused of killing 11-year-old Gannon Stauch. Colette Bordelon was in the courtroom today as the decision was handed down in the wake of new details about what exactly happened to that young boy. Colette.
The decision that the judge made was based off of the evidence presented at Stauch's preliminary hearing, where they explained how they believe Gannon was killed. They described blood evidence found in the Lorson Ranch home, and it shows why investigators believe she drove his body all the way to Florida, where he was ultimately discovered. Originally, Letecia reported Gannon missing on January 27th of 2020, but investigators believe she murdered him. The judge says blood evidence in the home supports the theory Gannon was killed in his bedroom and moved to the garage. At the start of February, prosecutors say Letecia rented a van and drove Gannon's body to the Florida Panhandle. Her cell phone pinged about 3 miles from where his body was found in March. His autopsy says his cause of death is blunt force trauma to the head and a gunshot wound. The bullet was found in his lower left jaw area. That was sent to the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, which during testimony says the bullet was consistent with a 9mm gun found in the Stauch home. Letecia chose not to appear for her hearing, where all of this evidence was shared. The judge says she must show up in person for her next court date in November, where she'll either enter a plea of guilty or not guilty.
Speaking generally, most cases of this magnitude don't go to trial on the first setting. I hope this one does for finality for the family, but we'll see what happens with that.
If that November date is kept and she does enter a not guilty plea that day, then they have 6 months to start the trial. Typically, a homicide trial in El Paso County takes around 2 weeks, but the district attorney says this case could last longer. If you want to read more about all of that evidence that was presented at her preliminary hearings, I have a full write-up on KOAA.com. Always watching out for you, El Paso County. Colette Bordelon, News 5.
Excellent reporting, Colette. Thank you.
All right, so that's kind of the skinny on it, but this happened. She killed Gannon on January 27th. Okay, she killed him in his bedroom, so obviously they had a crime scene and it was easier to put together. But I'm going to put the arrest affidavit up in a second. We're not going through all 32 pages. We will do that on another day because I know you guys are going to want to talk about it. But I'm going to talk about some comparisons between the two, okay? Letecia, when she gave her news interview, she spoke about Gannon in past tense. It upset the DA so bad, he said that the hair on his arms was standing up. He was so mad when he heard her say Gannon was. Who do we know that says she was a beautiful girl? She was the love of our life. Was. What you think, Kev?
My hair stood up on end too when I saw the first video of them talking about summer in past tense. My hair stood up. That was when I seen them. That was a huge factor in me speaking in past tense. That was a huge factor. I knew something was not right about this.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That,
And it's actually mentioned, I don't know if it's in the arrest affidavit or I say the arrest affidavit, it's a probable cause to arrest her anyway, or if it's another document where they mention it that she spoke about him in past tense. Don't think the TBI has not noted how she speaks about Summer. Don't think they haven't noted that Don has said was and that he'll just see her in the resurrection. Don't think that these little things that we talk about, they don't pick up on.
oh, I guarantee you, they have all this information for sure. I mean, people, I just, it boggles my mind because how people think nothing's going on, but the FBI is involved in this. Though the FBI has people working profilers and all that working for them. These people, the FBI, the division of the FBI is so smart. There's some brilliant people in the FBI.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Gaelic Girl said was totally shocked when they made those comments. Mm-hmm. Well, and like I said, we're going to talk about it because it's in the arrest affidavit, I believe. I've got several places in this we're going to talk and compare it to the Summer Wells case. And like I said, it also gives us a good idea of what the TBI is currently working on. You know, you're going to see, I'm not going through all 32 pages, though. I don't got that in me today. So that was noted. It was talked about many times. It was brought up at one of her trials that she used past tense talking about Gannon. Don't think that's not important. So when Dawn and Candus say people are giving us a hard time because we use past tense, I wouldn't worry about them. It's law enforcement that's going, do what? Do what? Supposedly Letecia and Al, that's Gannon's father, Leticia's the stepmother, were having problems in their marriage, and basically she took it out on Gannon. So we have two troubled marriages because you're never going to convince me that Dawn and Candus live in bliss. What do you think, Kevin?
Yeah. I remember I just talking to you this morning, Brooks. I would take all my retirement money and bet it that they have a dysfunctional marriage. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. We've seen it. I mean, I don't, this marriage is, so dysfunctional.
Oh, they definitely have a dysfunctional marriage.
Yeah.
And the fallout of years of abuse on each other, on their kids, on themselves came to a head June 15th.
Yeah. How many times have we talked about, Summer is the what happens when something like this escalates for years and is never addressed. Look what happened.
Yep. I agree. Yep.
Summer paid the price, and so did Gannon.
Yep. The most innocent victims, which all children are innocent, but she saved her brothers.
Yep.
And I'm going back to that comment. I'm going to skip around a little bit, guys, but I know you know how it is, and we can follow each other. Got some real smart cookies in here. Going back to that comment about the brothers not talking because they're afraid that they're going to go back. That could be part of it, but I'm still thinking that Summer never made it home. Because if they saw Summer that day and they can corroborate their mother's story, we wouldn't really be here.
Great point, Brooks.
They could tell the TBI, FBI, Hawkins County, whoever they're talking to, what they witnessed that day as far as Summer getting gone, we wouldn't be here 7 months later.
That's a great point. And in my opinion, I don't think the boys ever saw Summer that day, in my opinion. Ever.
No. Maybe leaving the house that morning, but I don't think they came back with her.
I don't either, whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Look at this right here, Dee Dee. Brooks, on paper, Letecia Stauch looked good. She was educated and worked as a teacher. She wasn't a drug addict or alcoholic. Same with the Watts. Looked like a great family man and hard worker. Yep. But I mean, like right off the bat, people were like, that stepmom did something. That stepmom did something. But as all of you that follow true crime know, and if you remember this case with Gannon, the crazies came out too. They weren't willing to accept Letecia did it. They did believe he was kidnapped. They thought that their church had something to do with it. They thought that she sold him or trafficked him. That's what they kept saying. We can't wrap our minds around true evil. And when a mother, stepmother, father, whatever, does something so horrific to their own children, it's hard. I get it. But yeah, people were calling their church, the church that Al and Letecia, Harley, Gannon, and Lena were going to, thinking that church had something to do with Gannon disappearing. Looks are deceiving.
Yep. Evil mothers do kill their children. Mm-hmm. They do. Terrible.
So there's another similarity, because we have a lot of crazy rumors floating around. Okay, Nositpotes. I love that name. And it's a tongue twister for me. I don't know why. It's a tongue twister. It's hard to wrap our minds around how evil someone can be because we ourselves are not evil. Nope. And that's the reason when it all comes out, a lot of people back away from the case. They're like done with it. They're done. Because when we see what was really going on, it's like, oh, wow. Got to be kidding me. Gotta be kidding me. So before I get into the arrest affidavit, again, not all 32 pages, just some highlights. Another similarity between Letecia and Candus is they changed their stories. Candus told 911 she took a run or a walk, whatever. She came back later, and 10 minutes later, Summer was gone. The next day, she was on Facebook, and she told people she was doing dishes, and that Summer walked out barefoot and never saw her again. And that was basically, in a nutshell, what she said. Then we hear the planting flowers story. All right, Letecia said that Gannon went to play with a friend, which is odd because she kept him home from school that day. She said he was sick. She said he had stomach problems. Well, I think it's because she abused him so bad the night before she knew he couldn't be seen by anybody. But anyway, she said he went to play with a friend and didn't come home. Then she tried the runaway theory. Then she said some guy named Eduardo broke into the house, raped them both, and that's the reason there was blood in the garage in his bedroom. And we didn't even know about this story until the affidavit came out. So here we have two women that can't keep the same story about what happened to their child.
Yep, there are so many similarities, and we're just getting started. And this is very interesting, but yet very alarming. Mm-hmm. It is. As we get into this, it's, and it is a trigger. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a trigger.
Yep. Both abusive women to children. Now, Letecia didn't have any history of it. Hers was more emotional abuse, which is abuse. It's abuse. I do think that she was physically abusive to Gannon, but she kept it to a point where his father wouldn't find out about it. That something had gone down the night of January 26th, because there was a video that came out. It's very haunting, where supposedly he knocked over a candle. You can hear him saying he's bleeding, he's crying. We'll talk about that when we go into this case in depth, because I know a lot of people have been wanting to talk about it. And his stepmother, step monster, I call her, is taunting him, knowing she has hurt him, trying to tell him that the landlord's going to throw them out if they don't replace whatever was messed up. You hear him crying and pleading with him. I'm bleeding. Do you pinky swear you didn't do this on purpose? Do you pinky swear you didn't do this on purpose? And you hear this little boy, 11 years old, I pinky swear. You can't hear that video without having a total breakdown. You can't. We've heard the abuse that Candus has projected on children. 2 children in Wisconsin. We heard the story about the boys being forced to lay on the concrete in the hot summer sun. We've seen the pictures of a very, very neglected summer. Both women are abusive.
I haven't heard that video. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Now, and when we do the show, I'm going to tell everybody,
Oh,
this video is going to trigger you. When you hear his little voice and you hear her taunting him, I understand if you get out. I want you guys healthy, okay? I want you guys healthy. AJ Glam. Hi, Brooks and Kevin. Love you both. Love you too. All right, so both abusive women. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 similarities so far. Both Letecia and Candus, which I know Candus had her mom take the video, whether it was an accident or not, I don't know. She's the one that was saying, does she still have her arm up? For whatever reason, she wanted a picture. Okay, Letecia did the same thing. She had plans to kill Gannon that day because she knew she had hurt him the night before in her fit of rage. She took a very, very eerie picture of him laying in his bed, just like the milk video. The picture of Summer sleeping on the milk. Candus hates Dawn. She doesn't need a picture of her sleeping like her daddy. There was another reason for that. And it's not uncommon for mothers, stepmother like Letecia, to get a last picture before they do what they're going to do.
wow. How horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, this is evil that I can't even wrap my brain around. Seriously. This little boy was there's a difference. I mean, Summer was 5, Gannon was 11.
Mm-hmm.
An 11-year-old is a lot bigger than a 5-year-old. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And to think about what Gannon went through before he died is absolutely sickening.
It is very sickening,
Oh my God.
and we have all the details. So we, between hearing his little voice on that video and then knowing the details, it's just hard to imagine what he went through. And we're going to hear those details about Summer someday.
Yep.
Not saying it was Candus, not saying it was Dawn, not saying it was Grandis. We're going to hear what happened, what happened, and we're going to say the same thing about little Summer. Imagine the fear that she had.
That's what bothers me so bad is their last couple of minutes. Wow. It's very heartbreaking.
It is.
It's evil, it's sadistic, it's pathetic, it's these poor kids, man.
Mm-hmm. Nosit Potes said, tongue twister for me, I'm telling you. Candus wanted to try to get a proof of life with that video. I believe that too. I don't believe that video was an accident. And that's exactly what one of the FBI profilers said about Letecia taking the picture of Gannon laying in bed before they got on with their day. She called herself out of work. She called him out of school. She knew something had to be done. She knew Al, who was at National Guard training in Oklahoma, was going to come back, and he was going to realize that his son was hurt and that she did it. That's the only way to describe it. So the events of January 27th were very unusual. Very unusual. Letecia took Gannon out that morning, even though she said he was sick, didn't take him to the doctor, didn't take him to get lunch, anything like you would normally do. They had all kinds of random errands to do that day. Remind you of anybody?
Yeah, sure does. Exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Make sure you run around all day to proof of life.
I mean, she was doing stuff like buying dog sweaters at PetSmart. Who takes a sick child out and goes and buys dog sweaters and stuff? She had all kinds of very strange errands to do that day. I mean, they weren't anything that you would have to run out of the house and do. Taking him to the doctor would be. And so then we have Candus. All right, so fine, take your mom to the doctor and get back home. But she had all these weird errands all day. And they mentioned it. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation. They said this day was very out of the ordinary for Letecia. This isn't her normal, they called it standard of pattern. Layla, I think C and D study other missing child cases to learn what to do. It's looking like it some days. All right, so they each had a very unusual day. Changing stories. Each took very eerie photos, spoke in past tense. Again, changed their stories. Troubled marriages. So let's look at the arrest affidavit for Letecia. This is not for Candus, and I'm not saying Candus did what Letecia did. This will give you a little bit of an idea of what the TBI is putting together currently. All right, so that's the arrest affidavit. 32 pages. Could you imagine one day in your life it would take someone 32 pages to write out what horrific events occurred at your hand? Teresa, Candus was obsessed with the Boswell case. Yeah, Dawn mentioned it. All right, so it starts up here, and I'm going to skim through some of this stuff. We will do a show on Gann and Stauch. So right here, I'm pointing on the screen. Basically, she's just giving her qualifications. Investigative training, her experience, how she come to put all this together. Here's the charges for Letecia. Murder in the first degree, child under 12, position of trust. Child abuse resulting in death. Tampering with a deceased human body. Tampering with physical evidence. All right, so then they go into the reasons that they're putting this together in order to get her arrested. All right, here's one thing. If you look right here on number 7, investigators have executed physical search warrants and collected evidence from vehicles associated with Letecia. So they got to be looking at all the cars, cellular devices, and from the residence of Letecia. Electronic search warrants have been executed to entities including but not limited to, which means they can keep it open. If they find something else, they can go to them. Facebook, Apple, Google, AT&T Wireless, Verizon, ADT Security System, Tile, Life360, Yahoo, Ring Doorbell. Some of the physical evidence has been examined by a laboratory for DNA profiles. So that's a lot of stuff to go through. Think about how much time you spend on the internet every day. Even if you just kind of surf some stuff, whether it's your Facebook, your email, you're looking at something on Google, how often you use your phone. That's a lot for them to go through. That's a lot to go through. And we know Candus was on that phone all the time. What do you think, Kevin?
Well, yeah, something just struck me about this. Okay, what you just read off, yeah, that's a lot of stuff, and that takes a lot of time. Now, we haven't heard anything from law enforcement on the Summer Wells case except for no abduction, foul play. Okay? Look at the shit show. Okay, look at the shit show that Don, Candus, whoever is putting on. Can you imagine how much more stuff TBI, FBI, Hawkins County has to go through? Unbelievable. In my opinion, they have TBI and the FBI have more stuff to go through than this case right here because of the shit show. They have to follow up on these crazy ass things,
Yeah.
There's a
every one of them.
lot.
Every
There's a
one
lot.
of them. Because when they get to trial, the defense attorney is going to say, but you never followed up on this tip. They're going to say, hey, Ladybug 72 called the TBI and said Martians took her. You didn't follow up on that. They have to follow up on everything.
Yeah. I can't even imagine how much TBI and the FBI and Ronnie Lawson and the amount of stuff that they had to follow up on. I just can't even. It's got to be a book.
Yep. Going through the electronics alone, whew, buddy.
Yeah.
Woo. All right, so right here is when they break down the family. Al, Letecia, Harley, who is Leticia's daughter, Gannon and Lena, Al's children, okay? Then they talk about the vehicles, what they have to do, that they're looking at the vehicles. All right, then they go through her date of birth and stuff like that. They go through Al, where he was that night. I mean, Starlink was his friend because he was in another state. So you get to number 17. The subsequent information primarily surrounds the period of Monday, January 27th, 2020 to Wednesday, January 29th, 2020. Okay, so the first 2 days, the first 48 hours, we've talked about that before. We already know that Candus had changed her story 3 times in 2 days. There's going to be a lot more that comes out of what went down those first 2 days. They're going to have a lot of conflicting statements. A lot. Then it says right there that she reported Gannon missing. She called 911. Then she was instructed to call the non-emergency line. Letecia stated Gannon was supposed to be at home approximately 1 hour ago and that she was unable to locate him at his friend's house. Her story dramatically changed multiple times over the following days. All right, we get to 19. I'm only going to highlight a few of these. As will be discussed below, investigators do not believe Letecia went to any neighboring houses to attempt to locate Gannon, and was one of many lies told by Letecia during the investigation. Letecia was unable to provide the actual location of the homes she went to, the names of Gannon's friends he was supposed to be playing with, or the names of the parents of Gannon's friends. Y'all smell when I'm stepping in? Who else hasn't done any kind of proper search? I drove around. I looked in the dungeon for 20 minutes. Well, I mean, you can't really prove that unless you had your cell phone on you. Where'd you drive to? There's never specifics. Never. See what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Clear as a bell. They haven't done a damn thing to find that little girl. Nothing. It is exactly the same behavior as Letecia Stauch. Period.
Yeah, very similar behaveir.
There's so
right
many
there,
similarities.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Brooks. There's so many similarities. It's alarming. You'll see. We'll see.
But think about that. They've noted that already. She didn't go look for him. She can't even provide any specifics. You know where you went. And we have the same thing with Candus. Oh, I searched the dungeon for 20 minutes, but you said you went on a walk and 10 minutes later, she was gone and you called. And were you searching during that time? Wouldn't you search before you call the police out? All right, so I'm going to get to number 22. This is mentioned many times, okay? Excuse me. Letecia initially claimed that she last saw Gannon on January 27th, 2020, when he left their residence to play with his friends somewhere around 15 hours. So what is that, 3:15 in the afternoon? Based on the facts outlined below and Letecia's statement to an EPSO dispatcher, Letecia is the last person that ever saw Gannon alive. Letecia stated she attempted to find him at a neighbor's house and sent her daughter, Harley, to look for Gannon at a park. Okay, so, and this is mentioned several times in the affidavit. So in the case with Summer Wells, who was the last person to see her alive? According to Candus, she went to the camper when she was talking to her friend, and it's a more likely story, and she went to sleep. I don't think the boys saw her, because I don't think we would be sitting here right now if they had any information on what they saw that afternoon. Who saw her last?
Candus.
It'd have to be Candus.
Candus, oh Candus. Exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's I'm trying to think of the word for it. This is the similarities. Just after we go through them, they're mind blowing. They're so the same.
Mm-hmm. So we get to 23. Letecia lied to investigators on multiple occasions, has unexplained abnormal behavior such as obtaining a rental car, disconnecting her cell phone from the cellular network for an extended period of time, the false reporting of an alleged rape, abnormal patterns of travel. That's what's going to get Candus, because the day of the 15th, one of the things that's they've got problems with. When you go out of your routine on the day that your child goes missing, the authorities go, but that's a totally different routine than you ever had before. But on this day, so think about that. Abnormal patterns of travel, a continuously evolving story with material changes in facts and circumstances. Sound familiar?
Yeah. The only difference I see is that Letecia didn't wear a Mom Patrol shirt. There you go.
Oh, if she'd thought of it, she would have.
I bet she would have.
And has since left the state of Colorado. Well, Candus left the state of Tennessee.
Yep.
These actions, when combined with the other facts in the affidavit, support the totality of probable cause for the requested warrant and will be discussed below. All right, so what do you guys think?
Yeah, I really want to hear what Kat thinks. I know what I think.
It's just something to think about. There's a lot of similarities.
It's so eerie. That's the word I was trying to find.
Uh-huh.
It's eerie. And you just started.
Yep. Downtown Trina. I don't understand why they're not getting satellite surveillance. We don't know what warrants they've ordered. We don't know what they're getting or what they're waiting on or anything like that. I don't know. Yeah, just me. It is eerie. Lisa, you're right. Probable cause is really all it takes. Just got to be patient. And remember, while all this was going on, everybody just thought that they weren't doing anything about the case. I mean, they were saying that someone at the church had Gannon. They were saying that when Letecia left Colorado, that he was still alive and she sold him en route. I mean, people had all kinds of stuff going on, and you can see behind the scenes, and we're going to see this with Summer. Not saying today, not saying tomorrow, that this is what's been taking so long. All right, so we already went through lied to investigators. All right, I'm going to get to page 22. I'm going to skip through all that because his murder is gruesome. Okay, guys, we don't need that today. And we will talk about the murder of Gannon Stauch one day. So this is when they're going through the cellular, her phone. They're talking about during the afternoon. She was someone that was posting to Facebook quite often, a lot of activity on her phone. But during the murder, she wasn't using her phone at all. But as soon as she murdered him, she was back on the phone. That tells me something. All right, so they go through Letecia's Google searches. I can't wait to see what Candus had been searching, okay? because there's Letecia. Find real military singles. All of this started, these searches, a few days before she killed Gannon. I'm overdoing all the work for my stepkids and their mom doesn't help. If you aren't involved in your kid's life, you are shitty. Well, you're shitty, Letecia. I wonder if my husband's ex-wife is sending me a card since I raise her kids. You narcissist. Why should my husband choose me over family? Because they're his kids. It's crappy. Some parents don't care for their kids or buy them presents. All right. So she has all of these really weird ones. One is, can Nintendo find my Switch? He had a Nintendo Switch, and I think that's what she was hitting him on the head with the night before, because it's never been found. And she wanted to make sure that there wasn't, somehow it wasn't connected to where when she buried him or, you know, put him in the suitcase and dumped him in Florida, that they couldn't track it that way. Now, this is my favorite on 34. I don't know that Candus is this smart. They are asking for our son's toothbrush, but they said nothing is wrong. Well, they're not asking for the toothbrush because nothing's wrong. They were getting a DNA profile. Wonder what old Candus thought when they asked for Summer's toothbrush.
Well, in my opinion, be lucky if Summer had a toothbrush in the first place. And I'm not trying to change the subject, Brooks, but you just put this up here. Isn't line number 5 the truth?
Oh, let me look. If you aren't involved in your kid's life, you're shitty. Yeah, that's a mouthful coming from you, Letecia.
Yeah.
But think about it. She had to Google that.
Yep.
Why do they say there's nothing wrong? So you can see how police, because this is what she typed out. This is what she typed out. But they say nothing's wrong. But you've got Dawn saying, oh, the TBI, they don't have shit. They don't have evidence. I'll talk to them all the time. Oh, no, they're being cool with you, buddy, because they're building a case. They're building a case. They're building a case. Now, when all of this was going on, of course, Al gets back from Oklahoma with a quickness, talking about Gannon in present tense. And, of course, he's side-eyeing Letecia, but he hasn't quite turned on her yet. It didn't take long. It didn't take long for him to lose all faith in her and realize she was somehow involved. All right, so she packs up. She goes to South Carolina. We know she drops off Gannon on the way. She takes her daughter Hurley with her. And I just imagine what that girl went through. But I'm telling you right now, if Al had stuck by Letecia, the other 2 kids would have been in CPS custody. Because you can tell in the first 2 days, they knew she was involved. One way or another, and they were putting it together. It took a month to get something concrete, which is why this came out like a month later. Tells me, I'm looking at the timeline here, okay, guys? Like I said, these are just similarities. A month after Summer went missing, roughly, I don't have the exact date in front of me, they took the boys.
Yeah, I'm going to go right back to when you talked about the toothbrush, Brooks. Yeah, that's a very telling search there.
Yep.
That's very telling, that toothbrush. I mean, because she's freaking out at this point. Oh, my God, they're asking for, let's put it into real life. It'd be like, oh, my God, they're asking for my son's toothbrush, but yet they said nothing is wrong or, something. She's freaking out by that point, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For her to ask Google.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I would love to know what Candus was asking Google. Because, I mean, they already had Letecia's phone. She went and bought another phone. Just like Candus. It's not going to be without my phone. Because I'm searching for my child, right? I got shit to do on Facebook. All right, so a lot of people have brought up that Dawn and Candus deleted a bunch of stuff off their phone. 142 on here. Investigators were also able to recover internet search history that was deleted from Letecia's phone. No time and date associated was located with the data, and I can only ascertain that these searches were conducted prior to the EPSO seizing Letecia's phone on January 29th. Oh, okay. So they took the phone on the 29th. I thought they took it that night. I stand corrected. Some, but not all, of the search history is included below. Some of her other deleted search terms included travel planning, shopping, job searches, and other seemingly innocent activity. So they look at everything. They look at everything. So imagine everything we look at. Recipes, dogs, memes. I mean, all that stuff. They have to go through every bit of it. I have not purposely left out any particular search that would be exculpatory in nature, and I'm not intending to portray that all of Letecia's deleted searches were nefarious in nature. So even when they delete something, they can find us. They can find it. They can find it.
I can't imagine if TBI and the FBI had to go through Candus's phone, as much time as she spent on her phone. Can you imagine how much stuff they had to go through? Good Lord, that lady lived on her phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Candus lives on her phone. That's all she does. She don't take care of her kids, but she likes TikTok. There you go. That's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people are still talking about the toothbrush. Look, I don't know if Summer had a toothbrush or not. I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't, but they would have asked for something in that house to get a DNA profile off of her. I don't think Dawn and Candus realized that. She had to have, had DNA on something in that house. So whether it was a toothbrush, a hair comb from when she had hair, I don't know. A hat she wore, I don't know.
Well, early on in the case, it was said that they took out some bags of stuff, bags out of that house. It was said, and I wish to God I knew where it was. I'll try to find it. But it was said that TBI, law enforcement, when they showed it, they did take stuff out of that house in bags.
Mm-hmm.
So let me tell you something. The FBI, I got 100% faith in law enforcement on this one. I do. They know what they're doing, period.
Well,
I'm not even going to argue that point anymore.
No, I'm surprised it's taken that long. The thing with Gannon, they didn't have Gannon's body when they did all this with her. They didn't have Gannon's body, but they knew he had been killed in that room because of all the blood. We don't know what happened to Summer. If she was given to someone, if she was killed somewhere and hidden, we don't know.
The only thing I do know is that the FBI and TBI, no abduction, foul play. So that's where there it is.
Yep. Danielle said during the Joe Clyde case, good example. Good example. They supposedly found a certain type of adult video on a witness's phone. They also showed the mother's Facebook messages. They are thoroughly going through things. They are. Yeah, they are. Not a Wells supporter. Well, that's a great name. Didn't TBI also take the TV? Yep, they took their smart TV. They did.
Yeah, and in my opinion, I don't care. I mean, I do care how long this takes. That's obvious. I care how long this takes. But on the other hand, I'm glad they're taking their time to make sure they get this right.
Mm-hmm.
No more getting off. All your past years of all your child abuse, Candus, and your neglect have finally caught up to you, sister. It's coming.
Don't insult your sister that way. Kelly could be listening.
I'm not. I'm just saying. This I put money on that too. That TBI, FBI, local law enforcement, they are very, very, very. I don't know how many times I could say very involved in this Summer Wells case. I guarantee you, they want their people.
Needle Chasing Floss wants to know who's on the screen. That's Kevin B. That's your friend Kevin B. All right. So again, they mention during the first 24 to 48 hours surrounding the disappearance of a child, it is reasonable that an assumingly innocent parent or step-parent would be contributing to search efforts and fully participating in the effort to recover the child. They've already established she's the last one to see Gannon. She was not looking for him. So we see what's going on, behind the scenes. And we see a lot of similarities. Do you guys see a lot of similarities?
I see so many, it's mind blowing. And I hope Candus is watching this live. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I hope they are watching. I hope you're watching, Donnie and Candy. I hope you're watching. Pay attention.
So, just think about it. What they're talking about, her unusual travel patterns on the day of January 27th. What do we have the day of June 15th? Very unusual travel patterns. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation mentions troubled marriage, changing stories. Okay? The Eerie pick is mentioned. I don't think I got to that part, but I brought it up. The unusual day. It's not out of the realm of possibility that old Candus was so unhappy and had just had it that her rage went on Summer. No accusation, no speculation. We're just having a discussion.
Yep. I am not saying that Summer died like Gannon. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is this is very eye-opening and very alarming, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Blessings to all. Oh my God, I love this chat. This is the best chat on YouTube, and you guys are so smart. I totally missed this. Accidental videos. We have the accidental video of Summer on the 15th. We have the accidental video of Gannon taken the night before his murder.
Boom.
Accidental videos. Yep.
Boom. That was a great comment.
Yep. Accidental videos. But were they really accidental?
Absolutely not.
Lisa, who could not go out and search? I guess people who know where their child is. You don't have, okay, if you haven't lost your keys, you're not going to go look for them, right? Nope. Nope.
Nope. Haven't done one damn thing to find her. Not one.
Nope. Nope.
And that right there, the behavior of Don, Candus, and Grandis, their behavior is not of a child that got abducted, period.
Mm-mm.
It is not. I don't care. I'll go to my deathbed with that saying.
Nope. And you see it clearly spelled out by this CBI, not TBI, Colorado Bureau of Investigation. What we've been talking about in this case with the Wells for 7 months are exactly what they pointed out with Letecia Stauch. The DA actually brought up the past tense. It wasn't in the affidavit. Okay? All the searches, the troubled marriage, the changing stories, obviously the abuse, the Eerie pick, or like we pointed out, the accidental video, the unusual day. They said out of her routine, abnormal travel patterns. Let's see what Matrix has to say. Hello, Matrix.
Hey, what's up? Hi, everybody. What am I thinking? I'm thinking when Candus said that smothered me, all the cops that heard that were like, what?
Uh-huh.
I think they're both evil.
Yeah, she is. See, and the thing is, she said that on WJHL. And when the cops in Colorado heard Letecia talking to the local news there, and she was using past tense, and she said, well, they just need to find Gannon because everybody owes me an apology. It's like, oh, yeah, sure, we're going to go find Gannon so you get an apology.
Yeah, no, not going to happen. And now she can't even be bothered with the trial. So what does that tell you? Letecia.
Yeah, well, we'll get more into her case next week. Yeah, she's wanting another competency hearing. We can't fix evil. Can't see.
Evils to the bone.
Then we have mothers, fathers of truly missing children who have done nothing but search. Look at what the family of Sean Hornbeck went through. Natalie Holloway, J.C. Dugard. Look at that. No stone unturned. And Letecia, oh yeah, I looked. But you can see that they want specifics. Candus, I jumped in my truck and I drove around. Where? Wouldn't you be looking around your house? Where?
Or your property?
Yeah, I went for a walk or a run, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. A walk or a run, and didn't see nothing out of the ordinary. Bull crap. I'm not buying it.
No.
Well, they always try to have. Well, Don and Candus always try to have the answer for everything, and that's where they screwed up.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna have all the answers. I mean, it's just one of them things I can't shake with this case. Among the money. It's just crazy.
And look at how many cases where a child is missing and the parents are cleared within 24 hours. Vady, who wandered off in the woods, J.C. Dugard's parents,
Yep.
The Hornbecks. I'm missing someone. Well, obviously the Holloways because she was in Aruba. But, I mean, they clear him right off the bat. Elizabeth Smart, they were like, and they even came out in Utah and they said, this family has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. Polly Klass's parents. But this freak show, 7 months later, we're still sitting here. And they just keep on and keep on. They accuse anybody that pops into their mind. Anybody. The changing of stories. And I'm going back to the arrest affidavit of Letecia Stauch. They mentioned several times she was the last one to see him. Unusual travel patterns on that day.
And in my opinion, I am so glad that law enforcement is taking their time. I don't want another Casey Anthony. That's bullshit right there.
It's funny that you bring up Natalie Holloway. Her dad is still looking for her.
Yeah.
20 years later.
Her mom is too.
Yeah, her dad's the one. Anytime that it comes up, her dad's the one that flies right to Aruba, like the next day.
Yeah.
And even Michael Vaughn's parents. I mean, if somebody told her, his mom that he was like an hour away, she'd be halfway there, but before they told her, it wasn't.
Mm-mm.
I mean, there's too many red flags with Don and Candus. I mean, yeah, you can't discount them.
No.
And everybody's like, well, what if they didn't do it? Well, if they didn't do it, why are they drawing all this attention to themselves?
Yeah. Tasha said, not accidentally pick is one snap not going all around the car with the phone. Yeah, I don't think that video by any means was an accident. Jennifer, Daniel Robinson's dad, heartbreaking. He can't even get help. Nope. And he's doing all he can to search for his son. So, like I said, you see in the arrest affidavit, they're like, she didn't even look for him. It's going to be very telling when this comes out about Candus, Don, Grandis, Joe Biden, whoever did it. They didn't even look for her.
Well, Don did look for her that one day with the camera crew around him that he assembled.
I forgot about that.
That's why you have us around.
I forgot about that.
And this is a fact. We care more about Summer than they do, in my opinion.
Oh, I absolutely know that, Kevin.
Period.
Absolutely know that. We care more about her than they do.
Yep.
They care about themselves because they don't want to go to the pokey. Don, you need to take some notes out of the Al Stauch book. Don't stand by Candus anymore.
Nope.
Al was actually shown something from a ring cam that Gannon left the house with her that day. He lost it. And it was done. He was furious. Of course. But we have all these inconsistencies and all these things with Candus, and Don sticking by her. Even though he's supposedly telling his dad she's evil and he doesn't trust that she didn't have anything to do with it. Man, you need to do something. You do. You need to do something. Didn't know her birthday, reported she was 4 years old. All of that is going to be considered. Don't
not giving them the right picture.
Not giving them the right picture. So things that we don't think too much about or we've talked about, but it's like not really a big deal. It's a really big deal to law enforcement. The small part of that affidavit I read, you can tell when police see that a parent didn't go look for their own child, that's a red flag. The day their child goes missing, they had a very unusual day. I read it right off the screen. All of these things add up.
Yeah, I don't get it because I'm going to tell you something right now. If one of my kids got abducted, I do not think I could even go to work. I don't think my mind would be so obsessed with trying to find my daughter that I don't think I could do every day, like go to work every day, come home. That would be so your mind would just be gone. I mean, that would just be so terrible. And they have not even handed out a flyer.
If it was my kid, I'd be going scorched earth until I found him.
Yeah.
I would be a wreck.
Like Teresa said, Candus wouldn't even talk to the police. She was inside trying to get a hold of Hunter, trying to get a hold of Allie, Snapchat, whatever that was, the FaceTime she had with Allie, drunk, trying on hats, and said that everybody else was outside talking to law enforcement, but she was going to go to bed because she had to take a polygraph the next day. And there's two things in these cases that never rattled my cage, and I'll tell you why. Polygraphs, I don't give a shit because I don't know who gave it to them. I don't know how qualified they are. I don't know what they asked them. I have no idea. People can get through those things, all right? Even if they're like, oh, well, they failed their polygraph. I'm still like, I don't really care. It can't be used in court anyway. And rewards. I don't give a shit about a reward because the people that know aren't going to get it. And they're not going to give up. They're not going to sail themselves down the river for a reward they're never going to get.
Exactly.
No, I don't care. Very rarely are rewards given out. Very rarely. It's got to be like a happenance. They just happen to come across the child.
I think the thing that rubs me the wrong way on this case is the indifference from the parents.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just like they cultivate apathy.
Yeah. I'm going to read this from Layla. CM, sorry if I can't mention this. You can mention Chris McDonough. We play his videos quite often. Quite often. He's done great work on this case. Said C and D were on multiple substances. If opiates or benzos were used, polygraphs can be easily passed. You saw her chewing on her damn tongue during the WJHL interview.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Higher than a freaking kite. That's a fact. That's a fact, not a rumor. That's a fact, people. I don't care. Candus, you were absolutely stoned, girlfriend, on your little interview with Don, and these people right here, they're rolling the dice. And they're playing a dice game that they are not going to win, period, in the end.
I don't know. I just think maybe there's something bigger between them is why they don't separate.
They're such idiots. They think because they each have something on each other, it's bigger than what happened to Summer. Okay? That's a very minute, small thing compared to your child getting gone.
Yeah. I think the whole story is a fabrication from beginning to end.
Libby
Wait,
said, Libby said, I
wait,
need to go
Candace delivers it.
Mm-hmm. Libby, so I need to go back to the beginning. I'm so upset that I'm just getting here. This is a great idea for discussion because we have a great group. Got a lot of people like to discuss. And this has happened in other cases. I'm so glad you brought this up. Hope forever. Has anyone thought that the TBI may have lied to Dawn and Candace about passing the lie detector to get them to think they are safe? It's happened in many, many, many cases. You're good. You're good because they're building other things. They could have. They could have. Ronnie Lawson did not look very convincing to me when he was like, yeah, they passed it. It wasn't they sure did. Yeah, they passed it. Because if they passed it, think about it in that last interview he did where he was asked and he was like, but everyone's still a suspect. Yep, it's happened in many cases. It's happened in many cases.
Well, he begrudgingly agreed. He wasn't happy. That was for sure.
Yep, Hope, I'm so glad you brought that up. Main man, can I ask who Letecia is? Is she a friend of Candus? Twin freaking sister in my book. Nope, we're comparing the case of Gannon Stauch to Summer Wells and the similarities. But they'd be best comment. They'd be best buds deluxe if they knew each other.
That's the best comment of the day.
It is.
That was great.
I wasn't expecting that.
No, me either.
Lisa said, did Letecia ever say Gannon was abducted? Yep. She changed her story many times. Yep. She even said a guy named Eduardo came in there, raped him, and abducted him. After she said he ran away and that she was looking for him. Think about it. Tell you what. It's absolutely disgusting. Does anybody else want to grab the link and come up and discuss the similarities in this? Or any thoughts you have on the Summer Wells case? Because I've been loving your comments, by the way. I mean, I always do, but man, the last few days, you guys have really been blowing me away. And don't think, even if they have burner phones, okay, because there's a way to tell that. They found out very easily with JJ and Tylee that Chad and Lori had burner phones. I can't remember exactly how they figured it out. So even if they do have burner phones or whatever, they're going to figure that out. This is going to take a long time because they have no credible tips. They have no credible tips. Let's see who's coming. Grind to Shine. Hello, Grind to Shine. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I just want to discuss my theory. I believe Hunter knows more. If you look at his interview, you can kind of tell when he keeps repeating the question or the milk. I think that orange pop was a concoction with a lot of people call lean. And I don't know. I really feel something happened when they were out with Hunter. I would love to know what prescription they picked up that day.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, I just wanted to share my theory on that. And you know, it's just a shame. I got a daughter close to Summer's age, and it's suspicious to me. I'm legally blind, okay? And I would have been out there searching them woods with them police officer for my daughter, and I would have been the last one coming back in, you know?
Of course you would. Of course you would, because you're a good daddy. Of course you would.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I just, like I said, their actions, I believe in, you know, I don't think people should harass them, but at the same time, their actions are not that of a normal parent.
No. And harassing them is not going to make them talk. If this reward fund gets to $1 million, not going to make them talk. Not going to. We talked about this with the Herman Montgomery case yesterday. Adam and Kayla are not going to talk.
Oh, no, because what $1 million, even if they would get the reward, $1 million does them no good when they're convicted doing life, you know? So, yeah, I definitely appreciate you guys. You keep a very classy approach at this case, unlike a lot of other people on this case. So I really respect what you're doing.
Hey, I respect you. Thanks for being part of the community. Thanks for coming up, and I hope you have a great weekend.
Yeah, you guys have a blessed weekend, too.
Thank you, sir. Now, what does that tell you, that man right there?
Yeah, he's got that man has the same age.
Yeah, he has a seeing disability. And what did he just say? He'd be out there looking for his daughter and he'd be the last one to leave. Yeah, that's what you would do as a parent.
Mhm.
You wouldn't act like Don and Candace.
You wouldn't do like Letecia. You saw
No.
it in the arrest affidavit. They mention it several times in those 32 pages. She didn't go look for him.
Nope.
Any reasonable parent or step parent with a missing child would attempt to find their child. Danny, Eduardo, Jose. Way to aim for generic minority male names. I'm telling you. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of similarities. The biggest similarity, though, is child abuse and child neglect and what people do to cover up their crimes when they've hurt their own child. Again, I'm not saying Candus did what Letecia did, but the similarities in these two cases, just like with Megan Boswell, again, child abuse, child neglect. She had to get rid of Evelyn because she wanted her boyfriend. The dude that owned the chicken shack. She wanted chicken shack more than Evelyn.
And you know what the thing is? These similarities are too alarming to ignore, period.
Mhm.
They are. If this isn't eye-opening to some people, then, I mean, if you sit back and you think about these similarities, it's very alarming. It ought to make your spidey senses jump out of your stomach.
Well, from what I hear, that cops were on to Don and Candace before they had the command center up.
Mm-hmm. Hang on one second. Main man. Then I'm laughed at, and that's not cool. No, we're not laughing at you. We were just laughing at the thought of Letecia and Candus being friends. We're not laughing at you.
Oh, no, no, I'm not laughing at all. I thought that was a great comment.
We thought it was great. No one's making fun of you. We're just thinking of imagine those two being friends.
Right.
AJ wants to tell us hi. Hi, AJ.
Hey, AJ.
Hiya. How are you?
Good.
I'm going to jump off here.
Bye, Matrix.
Bye, Matrix.
Bye.
Hi, Kevin. Hi, Brooks.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
Except the shit show. Everybody's jumping in now on the bandwagon.
Oh, yeah, we're not concerned about that. So what did you think about the similarities?
The same. Copyright.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit strange. Probably she looked at her case. I don't know. You never know with these people.
Mm-hmm.
And especially Don with him saying he's God-fearing and everything. If you're God-fearing, tell us where your daughter is.
If you fear God, you fear God.
Exactly.
Teresa, piece of grandma's candy has always bothered me. There's never any specifics. What was the candy?
Maybe it wasn't candy. Maybe it was something else.
That's the first thing I asked. What kind of candy? What was it? I mean, just you're just gonna let her eat some random piece of sugar? What was it?
Maybe it was from the hippie house.
I don't know.
We don't know. It's just I'm just surprised that they haven't gone in with anything else. I mean, Candus with her negligence and everything, she can be arrested for that. But I don't understand. The TBI know more than us.
Yep, they do. And like I said, we were just looking at that arrest affidavit. And, you know, I mean, just like in the Gannon case, people were saying, oh, the church is involved. You know, when she left to go to South Carolina, he was still alive, and we didn't know what was going on behind the scenes.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I think Candus's sister and Summer, there's something up there. Something fishy. Definitely something fishy going there. But TBI knows the best.
You mean with Rose? Is that what you're talking about?
Yep. That's
I don't know about all that, but the thing I do, that's always just in the back of my mind for sure. That is definitely what's the word you want to use? It's just something that I just can't
Discuss.
ignore completely. That I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I
Mm,
can't ignore it as well. And her case has opened up as well now. So
It's been open the whole time. It was never a closed case.
nope.
yeah, now
The
it's
sheriff-
brought to light much more.
Yep, Summer helped her aunt too. More exposure on that.
Yep,
She
and those
certainly
poor
did.
boys. And those poor boys.
Yep, they have a second chance. Lisa said
Yep.
the motives are very different, however. Yeah. Letecia and who we don't know the motive behind Summer. So
No.
link up real quick. A few more people want to chat.
Right.
Julie,
I'll
I've been
say
thinking.
goodbye.
All right, honey buns. Thanks for
Okay.
coming. I hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you. Bye, Kevin.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Oh, Julie said maybe they hope they will go visit Summer's body. That's what I'm thinking too, that they're really watching them, that they're going to trip up one day and take him exactly to where Summer is. I don't know. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. Hello, main man.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Good. Hey, I
Good,
want to
you.
apologize. We weren't making fun of you. It was just a funny thought for Candus and Letecia to be friends.
Well, see, I had jumped on the live late. I just got back from getting an X-ray, and I didn't, I wasn't there for the beginning of it. So the first thing I thought, obviously, was you hear Letecia, you think Letecia Stauch.
Yeah,
But,
that's who we're talking about. Are you okay? Did you break something?
Actually, no, I didn't. I have to get an MRI of my lower lumbar spine, but about 8 months ago, I took a hockey puck to the forehead, and it split me open pretty good, and they had to staple it closed.
Ugh,
Before you get an MRI, you have to make sure there's no more pieces of staple because the machine can rip them out.
Oh, God. Mm-hmm.
Because it's a big magnet.
Yeah, a huge magnet.
It's a huge magnet. I hope you're not claustrophobic.
Well, I am horribly, so I had to go to the place that does the open MRI. Yeah, thank God.
Now,
I would. They tried to stick me in one of those machines one time, and I'll tell you what, I damn near had a heart attack.
I'm pretty sure my mom, she died. She had cancer in her brain too, but she was very, very claustrophobic, and they sedated her before her MRI.
Oh yeah, it's very common.
Yeah, they offered me, if I couldn't get into the MRI place, they offered me like a 2-day prescription of Xanax, but I've been sober now a little over 10 years, and I don't want to put substances into my body that I don't need.
Well, congratulations. I know that is
awesome.
10 years.
Good for you. Good for you. So I don't know what part of the show that you came in. Did you find anything odd about the similarities between the cases? Now, I'm not saying that Candus ever researched Letecia or Candus did what Letecia did. I'm not saying that at all. But isn't that very strange parallels between the two cases?
Yeah. I was basically I didn't really put my mind to the similarity of those cases between the Stauch family and the Wells family, but one case that has really, really stuck out to me, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's about a girl and her family named Brittany Wood.
Let me write that down. I'll look it up.
Oh my God, this case is going to blow your mind. And why I think there's so much familiarity is because just a brief rundown real quick. This family, the Wood family, are a bunch of damn sickos. Like their daughter, the daughter Brittany Wood, when she became old enough to start speaking out for herself, and she had texted one of her uncles who ended up SAing her for a long time throughout her childhood. And she texted him, and she said that we need to talk because I'm putting an end to this now. Well, she left with the uncle and was never seen again. 2 days later, the uncle who picked her up was found with self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. But after all the digging into the case, it was familial. You know what that is? Familial trafficking?
Yep, within the family.
Within the family. Well, let me tell you this. There was 17 of their family members arrested for familial trafficking. They were trafficking all their own children to family members and even others. And this girl, Brittany Wood, went to go confront her uncle about it and put an end to it. And she disappeared, was never found. And then the uncle, I guess, probably knew that she had some sort of kill switch, and if she was to go missing, that the stuff would still come to the light. And sure enough, after the uncle committed suicide, well, they say he committed suicide, but it was like the bullet trajectory was like in a really weird angle, meaning like somebody else might have killed him. But like, so this whole family unraveled, and like 17 people were indicted on charges. And all the young kids throughout their whole entire family were subjected to that sickness. Yeah, and
every case is so mind-blowing and so heartbreaking. And the sad fact of the matter is we can find parallels in every case because we're talking about parents that don't care about their kids.
Yeah, and that's horrible. I mean, I'll tell you what. I didn't have the best of life growing up, and I always told myself that when I'm older, like I am now, and I have my own children, that I'll always give my kids like 10 times more than I was capable of having when I was a kid. And from a very early age, I've instilled in their mind with stranger danger and even family danger, how there's people who are really sick out there, and it could be someone you knew your whole life, or it could just be somebody you just met that day. And there's only certain ways you could describe this to young kids, but as they started getting older, that's when you can tell them the reality of what I was trying to tell them,
Well, no, and you did a good job, because it's not just stranger danger. Anybody that gives you bad vibes or creeps, get away. Come tell
mom
or daddy.
Told that to my kids.
It's not the boogeyman.
Yep. So basically, the other gentleman who had jumped on the stream, he had mentioned something about that might being lean in the orange soda.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, look, there's possibilities for everything. However, I work in a pharmacy, and I know there's only 3 colors that promethazine, which is the active ingredient in which the people call lean, and it only comes in 3 different colors, and it's like a dark green, like a dark red, and even like a dark bluish purple. But any of those colors mixed into orange would definitely distort the color of that drink. And I'm not saying that drink wasn't laced with something, but what I suspect of that drink having in it is, okay, so those like juice packets that you could put into like a 16-ounce bottle of water? Like they have the little tiny packets, the individual packets?
Yeah.
Well, they have those at those hippie shops. And but they're Delta 8 or Delta 10. And depending on what size packet you get, you could get, or you like some people put 2 packets in one 16-ounce cup. But obviously, I'm not sure how familiar with you guys are with that Delta 8 and Delta 10. That stuff is not regulated by the what is it? The food and FDA. So it's kind of at like one of like use at your own risk type deals, and it has really bad adverse effects on adults. Nevertheless, a 5-year-old.
Yeah, I can't imagine what they did, because I've always had a question. It was less than a 10-minute drive from Priceless to Allie's house. Okay,
Yep.
Hunter said she's wide awake playing TikTok. Allie says she's asleep.
Yep.
I mean,
Now,
I've had 5-year-olds, and when the car stops, especially if it's hot in the car, and they're going to wake up. But I mean, she was not to be bothered for a reason.
Yeah,
right.
especially if your face is on milk.
Yeah, that's very important. She was not bothered for a reason. Somebody maybe, I mean, I just don't see how Hunter could be in that car and not be aware of what the real situation was. Either maybe what I'm thinking is maybe only he knew, or everybody knew, and I'm thinking that if only Hunter knew, like say when Grandis and Candus went into the store to get groceries, that Hunter said, or maybe didn't even say, he just like spiked her, like dosed her, and like maybe without even telling her, or maybe he did. He said, "Here, try some of this," because also they make those Delta 10 and Delta 8 Skittles that you could chew on. That also looks just like candy, but there's like a sugar coating on the outside, like the sour Skittles. But those things get you high as hell. And also another thing that I wanted to mention was when you hear Candus talk at the lake, talking to Chris or to whoever she talks about, and she says she always emphasizes nicotine vapes. They're not nicotine vapes. Everyone has to get past that. The puff bars that she was purchasing were Delta 8 and Delta 10, or Delta 10, probably Delta 8, because Skittles is a marijuana strain, and it's spelled Zkittlez, but it's pronounced Skittles. I mean, if there's anybody in the chat who is an avid grower, I think they would know this. It's a popular. I'm a grower, so I know my stuff when it comes to this. So Skittles is a strain of marijuana. So when she says these Skittles vapes were nicotine, she's blowing smoke out her ass. Excuse my language. She's all the stuff she bought at the hippie house, it was either Delta 8 or Delta 10, something to get you high. Now, there's a chance that she could have had a regular vape, and maybe one of the vapes where it was a nicotine one. But why would you need that if they're both on camera smoking cigarettes like they're going out of style? You know what I mean?
Right.
So personally, my belief is that everything that they went and purchased from that hippie house and that other dispensary place that they went to was all Delta 8 or Delta 10 products. And Chris says to her something along the lines of, "What does it taste like?" And she said, "Oh, it actually tastes like Skittles." No, it definitely doesn't. It just
I'm going to stop just real quick. I just got to say something real quick.
Go ahead.
If they gave her something from the hippie house, I don't believe it would have killed her. I believe if that's what happened, it was to sedate her.
Right. But that's exactly what I'm getting to, because although it's not FDA approved and it's like use at your own risk type deal, and it has really horrible adverse effects on adults, think about the adverse effect it would have on a 5-year-old whose, internal organs are smaller. They're not able to filter as well, the whole nine. So she could be so completely sedated that was part of the plan. And, to keep her in a state where she couldn't act out if she was handed over to somebody, or, for any other purposes. But mainly, personally, I think that one of my main theories, if you don't mind me taking up a couple minutes, I could tell you. Are you
Go
there?
ahead. I just want to clear up one thing. No one on here is saying that marijuana kills people, CBD kills people. Just
Not at all.
It's his theory that could have been what made her
sedated her.
Yeah.
Right. Now,
but no, go ahead with your theory.
Yeah, no. The only way marijuana can kill you is if you smoke your body weight in like less than 2 hours, and you're basically dying from smoke inhalation.
Or what Willie Nelson say if a bale falls on you.
Yeah.
And another thing you have to remember: no one in history has ever OD'd on marijuana. Period.
But you also have to remember just one thing: that Delta 8 isn't exactly just marijuana. Delta 8 is is also synthetic. Like it derives from the plant, but there's also a lot of different additives in it that are not healthy for. I mean, smoking anything's not healthy. I'm a big pothead. I do my own thing, but I understand it, However, when you start getting into the synthetic parts of things, that there's reasons why the FDA won't approve stuff. Like, remember when that spice was a big thing and people were like walking around like zombies on that stuff, and they were like selling it as incense in the gas stations, but people were smoking that stuff just to get high, and that stuff was making people look like the Walking Dead.
Look at Flocka.
Yeah, Flocka too.
And we're also not advocating for marijuana. We're not telling people, "Hey, go smoke it" or anything.
No, by all means,
clear that up.
By all means,
that no one's saying that would have killed her. Right. So go ahead. I want to hear your theory.
All right. So I have one theory that could have two separate endings. My first theory is that okay, so Don and Candus, we all know by now, are very big into drugs. And what exact drugs I think I have pinned down, but to me, I don't think it matters what drug at all, because they're in so deep that they, they'll do anything. Junkies, pretty much. So I think Don tells half truths all the time. When Don talks, he'll tell a whole wide story, but maybe 70% of it is bull crap. The other 30% might have some, hold some water. And for example, he had told a story once about running drugs across the border for cartels, all that stuff. But let's just say that Don is tied up into the drug game pretty good, and he's well known. And for a while, people were either fronting him large amounts of whatever it may be, whether it was crack, methamphetamine, anything. And it came to a point where they used it all up. They could no longer afford to pay these people back. A lot of these people don't play around. And it could be your average Joe who you might not think is tied into a cartel somewhere, but they might not be. But the people who they got it from is, and I'll tell you what, they kill for much less than you would think. So point being is, I think that Don and Candus used up all the drugs, didn't have the money to pay back, and then were presented with an opportunity of hand over your daughter, or both of you guys are going to get killed. And one reason I think this is because, and I think TBI maybe even know this, because if, say they know this, but the reason why they can't come out and say what they know is because every time, if they came out and were like, all right, well, we know this is what happened, we know who has her, but, and then they're just going to keep moving Summer around place to place, and they're never going to be able to find her. I think there's a reason for their silence, and that's because they don't want to show their cards. And
that's exactly why they're not going to tell us what they're working on,
right?
Because the guilty will run, or like you said, they'll move her wherever they put her to another spot. We don't know if she got put in a cave, if she's somewhere on that property. We don't know, but they're not going to give them a heads up.
No, not at all. And like I think that Don and Candus were either forced to hand over their daughter, or they get killed for a drug debt, or the person who they owed the money to literally came up and took her. I mean, that's just what I've been thinking for a long time. And one reason that really like has me nailed into this theory is because I would bet my house that Don is a very important informant for the FBI, the TBI, and the local law enforcement.
See, people have brought that up, and they bring it up in every case when things are going slow. They always say that the person accused is an informant. At the end of the day, they don't care. They've got to solve this crime. So we're going to agree to disagree on that one. I don't see that Don is any important figure in any walk of life anywhere.
Okay. Now, let me just elaborate one last thing. Okay. So think about this in perspective. Okay. Like, think about any other person in that you know is not an informant, that has a long history of crime, right? So you're on probation. You get pulled over after a 911 call for a domestic abuse.
Mm-hmm.
The cop pulls you out of the car. You're falling down on the ground drunk. You get charged with a DWI. Mm-hmm. You also get charged as a felon in possession of a firearm in your car. Mm-hmm. You go to jail. As far as I know, I mean, I think different states are you know, a little bit different on the law, but in New York, if you get rearrested while you're on probation, you don't get out of jail until you have your probation hearing. And that's just it. Like, there's no posting bail or bond or anything. If you're on probation, you get rearrested with a new charge, you stay in jail. Mr. Don only had to spend the night in the drunk tank, and he walked out of jail the next morning. You know, only special people, in my eyes, get that type of treatment.
Right. But also in New York, I mean, they have the bail reform where people do get a DUI, they sleep it off, and they go straight home.
Right.
Look at the case of Elizabeth
Those are
Garrow.
People who probably aren't on probation already, because Don was already on. Look at the case of
Elizabeth Garrow. That guy got back out of jail to go kill her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was disgusting.
Yeah. So, I mean, every state's different, and you never know what that judge is going to do.
Yeah.
And I don't want to cut you short, my friend, but I got 3 people backstage that want to talk to us.
Okay. Thank you for letting me come on. I appreciate it. Maybe sometime in the future I could come on and elaborate some more. You guys are great. Thank you. I watch you all the time. Keep up the good work.
Hey, keep in touch and let us know how you're doing, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, and congratulations on 10 years, buddy. Kudos.
Well, it's California sober.
There you go.
I want to make that clear.
You're good to go, buddy.
All right.
You're good to go. Stay in touch, my friend. Sorry about the misunderstanding earlier.
No. It's cool. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hello, Danielle.
Hi.
What you doing, honey?
Just listening to this case. I am making I'm sorry. I just see similarities between like the Joe Clyde case and Summers case.
Me too. Kind of the same ones we were talking about with Letecia in this case.
Because like I watched the trial because I'm right outside of where it took place, and just hearing the brother or the speech therapist at school say that she noticed that Joe Clyde was, lethargic and sleepy and tired, and she brought it up to the brother. And then the brother said that he didn't know, or he didn't think there was anything wrong with him, and all of a sudden that got out, I guess because the brother went home and told the parents about it, and all of a sudden they said Joe Clyde was acting different. They said they took him off whatever they put him on, which I know it could be medication.
Right.
It could, but they said whatever they had him on, they stopped it. And yeah. So
no, very good point. And that case is another one. And the TBI, it took them a very, very long time. No credible tips, no credible people, no body, kind of like Heidi Bobo. It took them a long, long time, and they got to the bottom of it eventually. We're going to get there. I promise we are. I mean, I'm not going to get there because I don't have the case file and I don't have a badge.
It takes a while, I know. And I hope it's not another Casey Anthony, because I remember watching that one.
Yeah, well, I mean,
so upset.
Me too. Jeff Ashcroft really, he loved the media. He loved all that, and he rushed that. You can't put the death penalty on someone when you don't know what happened to the victim.
And just like with the Joe Clyde case, I'm sorry to keep going back to it, they convicted without a body.
Mm-hmm.
So even if, unfortunately, they don't find Summer, they can convict on what they do have.
Yes, they can. We have Barry Morphew right now. His wife, Suzanne Morphew. We have Larry Millette. It happens. It happens.
Which, I mean,
Letecia Stauch, they had all that on her without Gannon's body.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, babe.
Giving the toys away after they're saying, well, we hope she comes home. Well, what is she going to come home to? If she does come home magically, if she's there tomorrow, what is she going to play with? What is she going to wear? If they're giving all this stuff away, that's like a telltale sign.
Wow, what a great point.
Uh-huh. And that's happened in
that
other
is
cases.
Very heart-wrenching.
They start giving their stuff away. You're right. You're right. Even when WJHL, she sat there and told them she's never giving her stuff away. Even if she never comes home, she's never giving her stuff away. She already had it in her mind she was going to give it away. It's a wonder she didn't sell it.
But I got to thinking yesterday because we brought up the infamous for sale video, which I cried watching the video. That's the first time I'd actually seen it.
It's a tough one.
And I thought, well, what if, they had somebody, if, they did sell her, what if they had somebody like drive up into the yard and they knew about it? Candus and Grandis knew. Like, could that be a possibility, you think, or no?
Oh, it's all a possibility. But I'm going off like the arrest affidavit of, Letecia Stauch. I was reading a bunch of stuff about, Megan Boswell, and they repeat over and over and over in it, the last person to see the child, the last person to see the child. Unusual patterns, travel, and behaviors on the day of. Well, who had that? Who was driving the car and making all these plans? Candus. Something's up. An old girl needs to tell. 800 TBI find. We can be done with this today.
And I keep saying it, like, the more and more they put this off. Like, if they would have done, like, I'm going to go back to it, I'm sorry, like Joe Class, they kept those people out there searching and searching for, I think, a couple months, maybe. They kept them out there for a long time. And, like, it just adds charges. So,
No, they want it all. They want an ironclad case. They want justice for this baby girl. They know something. I'm sure they have it sealed up. They're waiting on something. I don't know.
I mean, like, the parents kept, like, the cops out there and the searchers out there, and then all of a sudden they come out and say, well, we beat the kid. We killed him. So they knew, and they just wasted resources.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're right, they did.
I'm like, there's people out there that are searching, like you said, Natalie Holloway.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah, her parents are still searching. And there's parents out there that they want this. They want the media coverage. They want the helicopters. They want the drones. They want nonstop.
Yep.
And they're getting it. And these people get it, and they're just complaining because they can't sleep because it's too loud. So I don't get it.
I don't either, hun, but I hope you have a great weekend, and thank you for coming up. I got a few people backstage that wanted to say hi. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Keep in touch. Not a Wells supporter. I'll never get over that name. I'm going to say this again. Candus sold most of her toys on November 20th. I've heard that too. You're right, Amanda. Haley Cummings is still missing. I hope Summer is found soon. Me too. Hello, Sasha.
Hi. I just want to say hi, Kevin. I just want to say
Hi.
I really love the two of you. Like every morning I look forward to the two of you guys.
Thank you.
No problem. And also, I just wanted to give my little opinion in regards to it. I go back to the comment Don made with Chris in regards to he always knew something would happen to Summer. And I always go back to that theory. Or not theory, but to when he said that maybe an accident, maybe accidentally get ran over. And I feel like that is probably exactly what happened to Summer. Candus and whoever else were, drinking, getting high, and probably accidentally ran her over. And I keep thinking about the two different stories that H and Candus gave. I don't believe the swim hole story. I believe Hunter probably made that story up to keep us from thinking or knowing that he was ever at Candus' house. And if you remember, Candus also said in the interview with Chris, she told Hunter, you can't come to the house. I'm going to take you back home. Made me think that maybe something happened at the house in that swim hole story is to keep focus on the swim hole versus the property, versus their property and who was all there. Now, with the Subaru car that Dunn took to work, I think he took that to work, and whoever got rid of Summer's body and evidence, I believe, took his white truck and got rid of it and got rid of her. Because Dunn did say about Dudley, and not saying that Dudley did anything or what Dunn is saying is true about Dudley, but I believe there's some truth in what Dunn says. I believe that
there is. I'm going to stop you right there. He's not telling us what he knows. But if you listen, there's stuff sprinkled into what they say that the truth is in there somewhere. A broken clock is right twice a day, and even the biggest liar in the world sprinkles truth in things.
I agree. And I agree
you're
with
very
that.
smart.
I agree with that, and I feel that he said he felt like he thought not that he thought he said he feels like someone that whoever took her dragged her into the woods often and hit the evidence. Now Summer is only 40 pounds. Why would anyone need to drag her? Lester was dragging her in a tote or some type of something with her
I've
in.
always wondered about that red tote in the back of the truck. The only
And
reason I don't think anything happened at the house is because the brothers would have said something by now.
but I thought about that too. And this is what I thought about that. If you take the scene where Hunter said at the swim hole, at the swim hole, how he saw her under the water and all of that. Picture that at the house and something happened in regards to Summer possibly getting backed over or something with him, and that's why I can't explain the wetness and all that stuff. And I'm gonna go back to the boys, to what you said about the boys. But picture that with nobody can answer about, well, why did the clothes need to be changed and the wetness of his clothes and all of that. So to me, that made me think he's he's telling a little bit of what's happened, but not from the water hole.
Yeah,
I
just
believe
a
it's from
little bit
the
here
property.
and there. Now, he did leave with his girlfriend's mom at 3 p.m. that day. So he didn't go back to the house. That's been verified.
Yes, I believe that, but also believe that Hunter, when that video of the car, I
Mhm.
believe that's Hunter in the front seat. That's why he can't explain the milk jug. And that's why he can't explain. That's why he won't say who else was in the car. I don't think Grandis was in the car at all. If you go back to that video that Chris did, Hunter says um, around the 4:30 something mark, Hunter says that when Candace picked them up, it was Candace and Summer up until they picked up Grandma. I don't know why,
Let me ask you this. Did you find it odd, or do you find it odd when they volunteer information they haven't been asked? One thing Hunter said that I've always kind of thought was odd is when he said Summer wouldn't have just walked away from that swing.
they all
Nobody
say it,
ever mentioned her being on a swing.
and that's what I feel. They all say that. He says that. Dunn says that. Candace says that. Over near that swing, is where they park the cars at. That's what keeps bringing me to the theory of someone accidentally hitting her,
Mhm.
because the cars are parked near the swing. So if Summer was to say, or if someone didn't know, or someone backing out, and when you're high or drunk, accidents do happen, and reaction time you can't stop it because you're already in a different state of mind.
Could be, and a lot of people lean towards the accident theory. I just don't. I mean, I think that this is just my opinion. I'm not disagreeing with yours, because here's the thing about our community: we can all walk away as friends and disagree on our theories.
Right.
There's no evidence that anything happened to her there. A child being hit by a car would be easy for them to find. There'd be blood. There'd be
That's true.
something in the driveway.
That's true, and that's where I'm kind of a little stuck at, because I don't know whose car or who all was on that property that day. I mean, for them to say, "Oh, she just up and disappeared," is like when you think about Candace's story, when she says, they got home and they put the groceries away, helped with the flowers and the planning, and she took Summer back over to she walked Summer back over to the house and told the boys to watch Summer. You think about it, when she.
This is what I do with the Wells. We play a game on here called
Mhm.
Opposite Day. When they say it happened, it didn't. When they throw something out there, they just they throw and throw and throw for something to stick. I always look for what they didn't say, and especially when they answer something they weren't asked. And
Yes.
you sound like me and everybody else in here. This case is rattling our minds. What happened to Summer?
It definitely does, and I definitely agree with you. But the thing that stuck to me when she was saying all that was when she went back to the house, she had an urgent need to see where's Summer, you know, and that's how she got her. She was just gone story. You know, why was it such an urgent need? They don't need for her to know where was Summer at as soon as she went back into the house. You know, she had already just watched Summer like a hawk.
But she had never watched her like a hawk before.
Exactly.
So this was an unusual day, like we were talking about Letecia Stauch. It said in the arrest affidavit, this was an unusual day.
And I
very abnormal routine, travel patterns, and everything. Candus is building up for something, and I can't figure it out because there'd be no reason. This is just my opinion. I'm not saying you have to agree with me. I'm never here to try to change anyone's mind. Just we're having a discussion. There'd be no reason for her to have all that rigmarole going on throughout the day just for an accident to happen at the end of the day and then cover it up, because this has happened in cases before where there's an accident at the house, you know, or somewhere, and they tell them, look, I can help you. Accidents happen.
And I do agree with what you're saying. But the thing is too, I don't believe it happened on the 15th. I believe it happened on the 14th. And I don't believe Summer just passed away right at that, on the 14th. I believe on the 15th is probably when, they were trying to, I guess pretty much held her up until the time she passed.
Let me ask you this. Okay, law enforcement has never changed it from the 15th. Okay. How would you get the grandma with the big old bun on her head, Allie and Hunter, to agree to lie to the TBI, FBI in Hawkins County, Kingsport police, and I can't remember who else went to see them, that they had eyes on Summer that day? That's one thing I can't figure out. How could you get them?
Well,
because that's a major crime.
Well, if you remember the video Chris did with Hunter said he was up all night the night before, the night before Candus picked him up that morning. So that's kind of what leads me to think about the 14th. What was he doing up all night to the point he was ready to go on the 15th, on the next morning with Candus? So that made me think that, something happened on the 14th to Summer, and that's why it went on into the 15th, because they could, when Dunn mentioned, I hope she's not locked in some dungeon, can't go out and play and being tortured, came to my mind that they had her in the basement, not dead, but she's probably in whatever pain. That's torture. They're not getting the medical help that she needed, and she can't go outside and play.
You brought up a great point just now. I'm sorry, I thought you were done talking. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Kevin. I'm listening to you anytime. Go ahead.
You brought up a great point. Hunter being up all night, right?
Yes.
But because you know how teenage kids are, they're up all night and they sleep all damn day. They will. But you made a great point because
remember the medication he's on too.
Yep. But here's my point. Hunter, if he was up all night, he was tired. But you got to remember something in this story. In my opinion, he was lured. He probably was tired and didn't want to go, but he was lured with vapes and twisted teas. That's my opinion.
That too. But I also feel that he was there with whatever happened to Summer, which I believe on that property. And you remember when Allie said, that when Candus dropped Summer off, not Summer, I'm sorry, when Candus dropped Hunter off, Summer was just like the way she was in that video, and she could have woke up and gave her a hug. I think I feel that was Hunter in that front seat, and that's when he was being dropped off during that video. And When Allie said she wished she could have woke her up and gave her a hug, I think because she already knew that she was dying or dead, and Candace was going to take her to whoever to get the job done, the rest of the job done with hiding the evidence and stuff. You know, it's
Everyone's a suspect. Everyone's
yeah,
a suspect. I've never seen anything like it.
yeah,
Everyone's
me
a
either.
suspect. I'm not giving up on the June 15th thing because they do have a timestamp from the milk video. It was from the 15th.
And I believe it was the 15th. That's what I'm saying. I believe that happened on the 15th. I believe that happened on the 15th. I believe that that was her last moments, and that video was taken because it um Candace knew those were her last moments, and
Well,
that's
just
why
like Letecia Staunch. Letecia Staunch knew she had hurt Gannon very badly the night before. She couldn't send him to school that day. And she takes a very eerie picture of him, just like Candace did. I'm not saying what Letecia did, Candace did. I was just, the similarities in the case have really blown my mind lately.
no, but it makes sense what you're saying though about that. Like I totally agree with you, and that's what I feel, and that's why I feel their stories are conflicting because Hunter
Oh,
witnessed.
baby girl, it's nothing but a party of confliction.
That's true.
Nothing but. It's gone on. I mean, the 3 different stories Candace produced in 48 hours, I was like, somebody help me here.
Yeah, because you know what, they didn't expect to get the case to get this much attention, and they thought that the police would go with their version of, oh, she was just taken, so they didn't really prepare themselves. And like I said, I believe Hunter swim hole story is to make sure no one puts him at the property.
Yep. Well, I tell you
Yeah.
what, I love talking to you and I love all your theories. Love talking to all you guys. I love how we discuss things. And I just love how everybody puts their mind into these cases. So I'm going to put you out. We got Main Man wants to say
Uh,
something real quick, and then we're going to do Kevin's daily rants. Okay. So hang
all right.
around for that.
All right. Definitely will. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here every day.
Thank you.
All right. Main Man. I don't think he's connected anymore. Are you connected?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you said you had one more thing you were going to say.
Yeah, it'll be quick. Okay, one thing. I just one question first. Is there a timestamp on the video at the swimming hole?
It just shows it was uploaded to TikTok. I don't know. They would have the timestamp, the TBI. It was uploaded to TikTok on June 15th.
Right. So one last thing real quick was I honestly believe that video was not taken on the 15th. However, I think her name was Sasha, who was just up, had mentioned that something happened. That I think that video uploaded to TikTok on the 15th was just to kind of throw maybe Hunter's mom off to say, oh, look, we really did go swimming, but that was from another time. And it very well could be. I know I heard you say you don't agree with her getting hit by a car, but I thought about this one time for quite some bit. Okay, so everything goes like they say. They get home, they unload the groceries, they Summer goes inside. The boys wouldn't want to plant flowers. She asks Summer. Summer comes out, helps them plant a couple weeds, if you ask me. I didn't look like much of flowers. But then she gets her piece of candy and goes inside. Mm-hmm. Then Candace goes over to her mother's RV or camper and helps put the knee brace on and says, now that Summer's inside with the boys, do you mind if I use the truck and just run down the road and possibly grab something? This is just, it's not like this happened. I'm just saying this could have happened.
Yeah, it's just another theory.
Just another theory, right? So Candace is under the assumption that Summer's inside playing with the boys while Candace goes over to her mom's, puts her knee brace on. In the meantime, Summer comes out. Candace doesn't know. She gets into the truck. goes to back out or pull out, doesn't see Summer, and runs her over. Hence, Jody Sue hearing this animalistic scream. That's if we could possibly imagine, believe Jody Sue. Okay, so Jody Sue hears this animalistic scream that could have came from a child being run over or came from somebody who just realized they ran their child over. And then from that point on, it was, how do we cover this up? And if that video wasn't taken at the watering hole where they were swimming and Hunter was really at the house, then Hunter now is a major part of this. And
well, Hunter's in the video. You see Hunter in the video.
At the watering hole.
At the watering hole. And his girlfriend's mom picked him up at 3. And the only thing I have with an accident or any sort of foul play on the property is that the cadaver dogs would have picked up blood or something. And again, on here, we agree to disagree. We talk about all theories, speculations, and discussion.
Let's just imagine that the video uploaded to TikTok was not taken on the 15th. It was just uploaded that day. It was taken before. So that video technically could be out of the question. If it was taken the last time they hung out and went swimming and drank and did all that. So that was put up as like a ploy to make people believe, oh, he went to the swimming hole. But in all actuality, Hunter was at the house. And like Sasha said, there's things like when Candus said, oh, you're not coming back to the house, boy, I'm bringing you home. Like just certain things like that where she says things that just to me.
I know. Isn't she just such a badass? You're not coming back to my house. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You really put your foot down.
Yeah. I mean, like, so after if you think about it, if this could have happened, Hunter, Candus, the boys are in the house, and Summer could have possibly gotten run over by that truck and right in the driveway. And not all, like if a kid was hit by a car going 20 miles per hour, there's going to be blood most likely. But if that child is like right against the tailgate or like in the front of the truck and they pull forward and the tire just goes over their neck, then there might not be no blood. And and then either the kid let out a scream when being run over, or Candus realized, oh my God, I just killed my daughter, and lets out this roar that Jody Sue, the neighbor, hears, which was approximately, she said, I think an hour prior to when she seen Candus driving down the road and stopped her. And I think maybe in that whole time frame, there could have been cover-up mode. How do I take care of this? What do I have to do? So in the meantime, she's probably already in cahoots with Don. Don, makes up something for them to, a way to cover it up. And then it starts from there. And I think that would also be a really good reason why, like, none of the none of the stuff makes sense. Like in most of the interviews with everybody, like everyone kind of has the same concept of the story up until a certain point, and then it just falls apart. So it's like, to me, something happened. I'm not ever dead set on just one theory.
No, we can't.
This is just one of the other theories.
Especially with this cast of characters. I mean, law enforcement on all sides have already said that scream is unfounded. Well, I mean, nobody recorded the scream, so you don't know.
Well, and if a tree falls in the woods, does it make a noise?
Right. I mean,
if nobody's around, like, you don't know.
When Jody Sue heard the scream, TBI said they said very specifically, and I picked up on this, early afternoon of June 15th. Candus says she went for a drive. Sorry, not for a drive. Went for a walk. Now, this is what she told 911.
Right.
Back 10 minutes later, and she was missing. That's not early afternoon because she called 911 at 6:30.
6:30.
Yeah, right. That's not early afternoon.
Right.
So, I mean, whatever Jody Sue heard, they said it's unfounded. It has nothing to do with Summer.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they could say that they could rule that out. And personally, I just think that they just don't believe Jody Sue. They maybe to them, Jody Sue just doesn't seem credible. And I'm sure people could see why, but like then again, there's many people who are severely uncredible in courts that have seen, heard, witnessed some horrible things, and they weren't being able to be used as a witness in the court of law just because of how they are deemed uncredible. And it happens all the time with jailhouse snitches, and stuff like that. But thanks for letting me get back on. You
Hey,
guys
my man.
rock.
Hey, you keep in contact.
Yeah, you guys rock. Thanks again. I normally don't jump on, but if I could think of anything else that makes sense in the topics you guys are discussing, I would love to. So everyone have a great day. Okay.
Always welcome.
Thank you.
Chrissy said, "Boys would know if Summer made it home." I think she means home, and that's kind of my theory too. If the boys saw her that day, I don't think we would be where we're at right now. I just think that it's very limited to who really saw her. Kevin, my man.
Yep.
You ready for Kevin's daily rant?
Bring it.
Bring it. Oh, I'm going to bring it. You guys ready? Here we go.
Oh, bullshit. Okay, people. My rant for today, I'm kind of off track a little bit. I got to say this first because this live's been a little different for me. But anyway, that's just the way it is. My rant today is the people that are saying law enforcement don't have nothing. They're taking too long. They should already be in jail. No. In my opinion, in my rant, is that we have got to be patient with law enforcement. The FBI, TBI, and local law enforcement, they have a strategy. Okay, they're just not flying by the seat of their pants willy-nilly. That's not how the FBI runs their business. They want their man. So I think we all need to all of it. We need to be patient. Let them do their job. Because in my opinion, in my heart, I truly believe that TBI, FBI, local law enforcement, they're working very hard on this, and they definitely want the people that are involved with Summer. All these cases, these kids, they want it right, and it's too much impatience. I want answers like right now too about Summer and these kids, but you're not going to get them until law enforcement is ready to give it to us. So just be patient, let them do their job, and I truly believe this in my heart. I think in the end, this is all going to give Summer, Gannon, Harmony, and all of these kids. It takes time to get them the justice they deserve. Just be patient. And like I said, in my opinion, I think in the end, law enforcement is going to shine. It's strategy. And that is my rant, Brooks.
Great rant. Got to be patient. Hang in there for the kids. Got to. They deserve it. When people quit talking about it, I'm not saying that law enforcement's just going to let the file collect dust, because they want it done too. I was thinking the other day, they said there's a possibility she wandered off. Well, we're talking about little Elijah last Friday. He wandered off. He was found the next day. They said there's no abduction. If the TBI has found children that wandered off, what are we left with? Foul play and a cast of characters, not throwing any shade at Hunter because he's a victim in this too, and he's a kid. He's a kid. But we got a cast of characters like we've been talking about since June. You're not going to see anybody in the Wells circle come out like a white knight and save the day. Hence why that reward is still sitting there. No one's grabbed it.
Right. And, and today we broke down we just barely brushed the surface today, with this. And and we've talked about this before, law enforcement strategy. And the amount of stuff that they have probably still and have gone through is, in my opinion, that's going to be mind blowing too, when all this comes to a head, of how much stuff they had to sort through. It's going to be unbelievable.
Yep. Britt Marie, Crime Lines and Lies. I've emailed you regarding suspicious deaths in Northern California. Please give it a look. I will, girlfriend. Well, what was I telling you the other day about this guy I went to high school with, and he's a DA now. And he said that cases get presented to him all the time, and he's got to send them back. And he's like, I need more because I got to put it in front of a jury. And, a person you can explain something to, but you have a group of 12 that got to go behind closed doors, discuss amongst themselves. They can easily say, no, I'm not gonna send this person to jail for life. And you can only do it one time. You got to get it ironclad. You got to get it down in layman's terms to where a 5-year-old can understand it. It's got to be so crystal clear and cut. That's what they're doing. No one's giving up. No one's giving up. You're not giving up, Kevin.
Yeah,
I'm not giving up.
No, absolutely not. I'm not giving up. I'd probably, if I died, I'd probably stand up and start walking because I'm not giving up. I'll go down fighting on this one with these kids. And I know I've said this a few times, but you cannot rush this. Like, just go ahead and arrest them and throw let's get busy here, folks. No, they weren't patient with, and I use her as an example all the time, Casey Anthony. That was not handled correctly.
They overcharged, and
yep.
The district attorney, he was wanting to run for governor, and he liked the cameras, so he was going to get his man, and he thought he could do it easily because there was so much hate all over America for her. He misjudged one term, and I want everyone to remember this term when you're thinking about this case and what they have to bring to a jury: reasonable doubt. That is preached over and over and over and over to a jury. Reasonable doubt. If there is any reasonable doubt, you can't convict the person. Got to have it right. Got to have it clean. Got to have it tight.
And that, my friend, takes time.
Yep. And we got time. We got time. Summer.
I'm here. Summer, I'm here. Gannon, I'm here. Harmony, I'm here. Let's get busy. These kids need a voice, man. And as long as I got 2 feet and legs that can frickin' move and I can sit up and take nourishment, yeah, you can bet your ass I'm going to talk about them every day. Period.
You got it, buddy. Let's start closing down the show. It's lunchtime for most people, and we've kept them up for a while.
Yep.
Go ahead and say your goodbyes. I'm going to shut down the show.
Okay. And like I always say, if you got kids, hug them, kiss them, tell them you love them. If you don't have kids, tell your family members. If you don't have family members or your wife or whatever, tell your pets. If you don't have pets, the main thing is love yourself because you are worth it.
You got it, buddy.
And I want to say one more thing too. To main man there, my hat goes off to you for 10 years clean, bro. That is not an easy thing to do. and I applaud you. I just wanted to say that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's a huge accomplishment.
Yes.
Yep. And I'm glad that everybody in chat congratulated him and everything. So I'm going to wind this down, my friend. I hope everybody has a super great weekend. I hope everybody is healthy. Your weather cooperates. Get to watch some football games or whatever you plan to do. Come see us in Discord between shows. I like to talk to you guys all the time. Just send me an email. I'll get you a link if I know you. If I don't, I'm going to be like, no. Nothing personal, just, we don't let strangers in our house, if you know what I mean. Go check out the Facebook page. It's updated every day. Don't forget, I know a lot of people don't get the reminders or notifications. We're live every day, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time. You guys are the best chat on YouTube. You have the most intelligent comments. You think things through. We agree to disagree, and we're friends at the end of the day. And we will see you Monday morning at 9 a.m. We have 2 shows on Monday, so you're going to be real sick of our asses on Monday. You have a great weekend, and we will see you Monday. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all. Thank you.